this name can almost, I really think, bridge science and spirituality and almost crack open what I would call this like, four-dimensional liminal space that has its own set of rules and dynamics. And by studying plasma and science and the way it works with electromagnetism, maybe eventually with consciousness, we can understand how this liminal realm works between us and God, or us and our, greater expanded self.
Spiritual exploration these days is really a matter of all different types of things. People are constantly looking for some other or further way to express themselves, whether it's through, tarot cards or some type of like a system, whether it's energy healing or maybe some mindful meditation. What is it that brings plasma to the forefront of people's awareness, and especially now? Like, it's a big thing. I don't think people understand the magnitude of what that is. Why don't you share with the audience, because in my opinion, you're a master at this type of stuff. Yeah. What is to the experience?
Sure. I think the word plasma, which means to mold in Greek, brings a tangibility to this ancient substance / field that has been around for, since before eternity, maybe. I call it God's intelligent clay. It kind of feels like the layer between what Carl Jung would call ego and the self with a capital S, or what I call 3D and 5D. And, if we know we're learning it so much about ourselves and our consciousness, but we don't realize that we have this other kind of, relationship and dance partner throughout life. That is plasma. That is the fabric of reality. And it has, its own set of rules and intelligence apart from our consciousness. And just to, for anyone who is like, what the heck is plasma? There is plasma in science, which is an ionized gas. It is the fourth state of matter. It is simply solid, liquid, gas, then plasma, where the electrons are more free. I kind of define plasma beyond science as a multidimensional, sentient, living substance / field. I don't really know the right word for it yet. That is the vehicle for consciousness. You can kind of picture it as like a female god per se. It is consciousness imprints onto it. So it is more like a mirror. It reflects. It can take on, all these qualities without becoming it itself. And it also is, what encases every being of consciousness we come across. You can call it a Merkaba, or however you say that word, or an aura, or a biofield. But every single being, or even every single object we come across, has its own kind of plasma or auric field, which, is the field of memory, of information. And the way I define information is, information is imprinted consciousness, but it's not conscious itself, which is how the laws of the universe are created and also changed based on evolving consciousness, which will also evolve the laws of the universe. So reality is basically alive. But to me, back to what you were saying, naming things is very important, right? In magic and different cultures and religions. And there's a quote in the Never Ending Story someone brought to my attention about how they have to give the princess a new name, or else that land of imagination will die. And I don't know why, but they do. And, Atreyu, I think his name is, gives her a new name. I think he names her Moon Child or Moon something. But my point is, this substance, this field, this ancient, female goddess that we work with our consciousness that makes up our entire reality, it has been calling out to us for a new name that is more tangible, that can fuse science and spirituality. And I really think that name is plasma. And it's just, someone will come up, have another name. I didn't come up with it, it kind of came to me, but someone else will have something in another 100, 200 years where you apply a different name and it unlocks other facets of it. But yeah, hopefully that answers part of the question.
Yes, very much so. I mean, I could ask the next question. Have you ever pondered over past lives as a Taoist alchemist? Because I'm pretty sure we could go there. Within the metaphysics of Taoism, the animation of things is what we refer to as the void, the primordial mother. So the primordial mother animates consciousness, consciousness animates the spirit, spirit animates the energy, energy animates material. It sounds very, very familiar to what you're saying. And
Yeah.
this is what we refer to as the Wu Ji. And Wu Ji evokes Wu Wei,
Mm-hmm.
which is effortless action, effortless effort, synchronistic,
Mm.
serendipitous states
Mm-hmm.
of fluidity that cannot be mined by the finite. It cannot be
Yeah.
mined by the intellect. You are
Yes.
capturing it. This is this potency that we speak of. And I
Yeah.
believe that we're in the same ballpark in our own variables of what that is. And it
Yeah.
seems to be cohesive, which I find
Yes.
fascinating. I love that. I absolutely love it.
Yeah. And I think the weirdest thing is that when all of this kind of like came to me in a meditation, or just kind of like I felt like I had gnosis of this stuff, I didn't know anything about mythology or any of these things. I actually was shown and worked backwards and shown how to bridge this by looking at all these other cultures and mythologies. So it's weird how like I felt like I knew this pattern of intelligence like without knowing any of those other things. But that was even more fascinating because it was so confirming for me. And yeah, it's, you know, as I said, I am reinventing the wheel, but I'm not discovering anything someone hasn't discovered, if that makes sense. So it's just one more perspective of many, and people are connecting with it. And yeah, it's a beautiful relationship if you want to have one with it, you know? Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, we refer to the currency of this material state as energy potential. It's
Mm-hmm.
vibratory, frequential, and holds resonance. And if
Mm-hmm.
you are able to mirror that or hold that charge, oh yes, it
Mm-hmm.
will be yours. Oh yes, it will. This is the potentiality of self, not minimized by the willpower, because the willpower is still, you know what you
Mm-hmm.
know, you don't know what you don't know until otherwise noted. So
Mm.
now hearing your understanding of just the substance, we refer to the
Mm-hmm.
substance, it's profound because it wasn't like you sat down with some ancient text of Taoism. You were just like, hey, this is coming to me full force. And I
Yeah.
understand in such a deep level, right down to a subatomic level, all the way up to the cosmos,
Mm-hmm.
having this passion within me that is emanating as embodiment, and it's
Mm-hmm.
coming from your wisdom teaching. It's profound
Mm-hmm.
stuff. It's like, to me,
Mm-hmm.
you say tomato, I say tomato, but
Yeah.
we all end up in that same, all
Mm-hmm.
the rivers return to the ocean, my friend.
I 100% agree. And I think what's exciting about plasma, I wouldn't even say special perhaps, but exciting, is that for the first time science is studying it, and some are realizing what they're studying, but you know, this ancient substance that we call so many things, and so many of us, you know, just name different things, and that is what enhances our relationship with it. It's very interesting that science also names it this thing and is studying it. You know, it's not like studies, you know, science is studied, oh, like ki or chi or prana, or, you know, they're like, oh, we're studying the Tao, but they are studying plasma. So it's like the perfect bridge. Once again, I'm not rediscovering. It's, you know, same substance we're talking about here, but this name can almost, I really think, bridge science and spirituality and almost crack open what I would call this, like, you know, 4-dimensional liminal space that has its own set of rules and dynamics. And by studying plasma and science and the way it works with electromagnetism, maybe eventually with consciousness, we can understand how this liminal realm works between us and God, or us and our, you know, greater expanded self. So I think in the future, plasma is going to become a very important substance for that, and beyond what people call plasma now, you know, this living ether, this finer plasma that maybe we haven't proved yet in science, is definitely there. And I think a lot of people are connecting with this field in their own way, whether it's, you know, it's kind of a 4-dimensional field that is made up of circular time, like it has future potentials and also past potentials, where I would say the realm of our expanded selves or God is beyond time completely, right? So yeah, it's the more we go in this field, the more we have access to telepathy and, you know, intuition, and we could pick up on more information around us with our senses and our right brain versus our logic. Logic is not applicable to plasma. Plasma loves play, it loves novelty, it loves paradox. You can apply your logic afterwards, not before. Yeah.
it's just it's profound how we're both in the same center point, the same vesica point. I mean, the truth be known, we refer to the mother, the pulse. She's magnetic. She's She's whole. She's a stream that cannot be broken, cannot be created or destroyed. Is a constant, and you are eternal. You are immortal. You are forever, forever. And then things from the material state, which is a lower frequential state between energy and this material state, it's just different distortions of energy. That potential is transitory and permanent. Thoughts, feelings, and emotions are temporary. They do not hold charge the way you do as your eternal self. Now it's the mystery, the excitement of the human condition, and as your Sherlock to your Watson, as you go through the labyrinth of the finite mind and realize the bankruptcy at the other end is human beingness. And that's that whole extreme, that oneness, that plasma you're speaking of is absolute. That's when you find an absolute serum, an elixir that is so potent, because the convergence of past, present, and future as this present moment, or furthermore, it doesn't even require a title, is where the secret lies. That's where, in my opinion, you're tapping into the plasma. We're tapping into the mother. You are able to transform and return everything to that holy state, which means that miracles within a metaphysical aspect take place. Paranormal, supernatural becomes supernormal, and things are happening. Like crazy shit is happening.
Yeah, I 100% would agree with that. And I think the biggest challenge to that is my human ego and, the trauma I've been through and the limiting beliefs that I still hold, because I'm obviously literally human. So it's like, I have these moments, right, where it's like, the mother's milk, like I'm just one with plasma and I'm getting all this information, and like, I just know it's true. And truth changes every day, of course, like, God has changed, right? But in the moment, it feels true. And that truth keeps growing like a flower. And I'm, just connected, and all these things are happening. And like, I'm not worried about, what's happening with this relationship or this or this. Like, I just know all is okay. And I wish I could be in that state all the time. I know maybe that's called enlightenment, and I don't know if that's possible, but then I have the state where I'm in survival consciousness, and I'm not in that state, and I'm reaching and grabbing and worried about, what guy just rejected me, and if something's wrong with me, which, like, I know these things, you can know all these things are not true. And, they still happen to you because you haven't integrated them fully. So, knowledge is, pish posh, right? But it's more about the embodiment over a lifetime. And, I think I keep trying to hack that. And I'm learning now to kind of slow down and let the days unfold. And the more I slow down, the more I'm hacking it. So I realized recently it's, not a race to enlightenment. It's more of a slowing down and a
pacing and leading.
Yeah, and letting the mystery just sitting in the mystery. I don't need to figure everything out. And that's what I did in the beginning, which was so powerful. I was just pure and innocent, and things came to me and I was having fun. And then somewhere along the way, and I think this happens in every heroine journey, you go through a dark night of the soul, and like logic comes back in, and you're trying to impress people, and you're trying to get back to where you once were and chasing the dragon. And thank God, I think I'm coming back around the other side with more wisdom now and embodiment. We'll see, but I've been through a crazy journey the past few years.
Yeah, it's trials and tribulations. The exogenous benefits of the personality that is so temporary and doesn't require the true self. The true self does not require your participation. Absolute stream of holiness does not require any attention from the intellect. It is just the default resonance that you hold. And that's where Taoism kind of keeps with that. So we condition ourselves. We're not playing with the semantics or the syntax of maybe a proposal from a humanistic perspective. It's all energy. So when you recognize that if grandma didn't give you 2 cookies when you were 5, that is a conditioned energy that can be recycled, thrown right back into the wood chipper, and recycle it into a holy stream, as opposed to some sort of permanent blockage that is a mountain too high to climb, because we've referred to it as a thought, feeling, and emotion that is transitory. Yet, as long as you give it charge, your attention will be its most valuable commodity. And
100%.
then you grow this festering petri dish of nonsense that never leaves you. And then if you're not around an environment that can make sure discernment is a real thing in relation to what is your subjectivity, objectivity, truth serum, what does that really mean? And then, otherwise noted, it's an experiences world, and we're living in it. So nothing is more powerful than evidence. So evidence itself goes beyond the intellect. This is where we always talk about, if you're thinking, you're not knowing. If you're knowing, you are feeling. This way, we're recording things in the mind. We have a clear evidence, like the charge you and I are getting right now from this communion is the power that says that psychokinesis is real, that we are experiencing a collective convergence of potential that is happening right now. The power is within us. Amen. Hallelujah. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, God.
Yes, it gets to that point where, and the distortion too, for me as a priest, people get really distorted because I'll throw an F-bomb, an S-bomb, and whatever, and people go, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I do too.
You've taken the path of a monastic path of your dissolving an atonement as a holy stream. And it's like, that doesn't require my personality loves driving my side-by-side in the desert 100 miles an hour, eating chocolate bonbons, and I still am a deficient human being that subscribes to Netflix. That doesn't require a moment of power and consciousness that is within all of us. And so people try to contort things. And I find that it's like this constant game where people are very fragile, very broken, and they want this Hollywood version. So when they come across Taoism, when I teach them fundamentals, they get all weirded out when I am evoking something within you from the resonance that makes you want to control me. What do you mean? Because if I say, motherfucker, I'm not happy with what you're saying, and they're like, whoa, that blasphemous type of behavior. But hang on, I didn't even use Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, that's blasphemous. You can't do that. That is holy. That is anti-Christ. And I'm like, listen, you are missing the point, because what's happening is the resonance that I'm putting out is making you look at yourself. You are right on the edge. Now, do you have the balls to jump off? Do you have what it takes to surrender all that nonsense that makes you feel as though you need to control me and judge me and put me into this little box that says this is Taoism? No. You are so far removed from the center point, and that's okay. That's why we're having the conversation. And I'm sure you come across it within your own experiences. People get a little prickly and they break. And I'm like, it's okay. I'm here. Come with me if you want to live.
Same. No, very, I've been told in the past, at least, you should sound more smart when you're talking, or else no one will want to hear what you have to say. Or, you should go back to school and get your PhD. And then it's like, the more and more I would say no to those things, the more and more I'd find people who were like, thank God you didn't go to school. Thank God you're funny and silly. Like, it reminds me that I could still be smart and silly. And it's like, the more I stood against those things and didn't conform, the more I found my people finally reflecting what I believed internally, if that makes sense. At first, people I found reflecting my doubts. And then as those would, go away, then finally I found people that reflected, that they went away. And something else you were saying, I think for me, the biggest struggle, and it is a story I tell myself, but I think maybe it's a story that I'm telling myself that is deeply ingrained in my body, but it is like my entire life, I've searched for love outside myself. And only very recently, even though I know this, and I've known this for years, I really, really am understanding now that I need to find that love completely within, and not in a spiritual way, just in a way that actually I feel like and believe subconsciously. And I didn't realize it wasn't there. And I think that sometimes can be a blind spot for me, no matter how much like I know or feel. It puts me with the wrong people. And I, all of a sudden, like in romantic relationships, I can't stand up for myself, or it's like I, become what they need. And it's like, I'm not like this in any other way, but this. And I'm realizing like, I need to find that inner fire and realize that like, no, like I can be myself. And if they don't stick around, it has nothing to do with me. And I know those are things we can let go of, but for me, it has been, I guess, difficult. But I think, I went through it exactly how I'm supposed to. And now I'm arriving at that, yeah.
It's beautiful. It's poetic.
Yeah.
It's poetic justice in of itself, because when you fall on the sword, the selfishness to the selflessness requires the sacrifice. And it's not what you think of absolutely washing yourself or dissolving yourself or atoning yourself. It's recognizing that you are already whole. That gets that beautiful reflection that looks back at you in the mirror is perfection manifest.
Yes.
And that never, ever changes. It only becomes more potent as you return to the center. Once you return to the center, you move through the center, and you can recognize, we refer to this as the great bellows. You are everything and nothing at the same time. You're all things and nothing. You're contracting and expanding all the time. And so that potency is yours. That means you can be a grain of sand, or you can be the cosmos. You can be on top of the Eiffel Tower, or you can be in the middle of the snow in Alaska. You have the potentiality to consume and absorb everything and return it to whole. So that potency is yours. It always has. It's never left you. But from the fragility of the human condition, there's like this little, Jenga puzzle where you're trying to pull the pieces out, but still hold on to what you think is a version of yourself. When in actuality, you never had to let go of the self. You just have to accept it as whole. Yes.
No, definitely. I think that's very profound, and you're right. Because the wholeness is here now, right? It's more like when people don't respond well to that, because, I think I would like to add to, there's a quote about brilliant minds facing violent opposition. I think also wholeness faces violent opposition, because a lot of it mirrors to people that they don't have that wholeness within themselves. I think, authenticity can really scare people, and, having deep feeling and depth can scare people. And I think I always told myself that was something wrong with me. Like, oh, I'm a monster. I'm no one sticks around. And now I'm realizing no, number one, that's because I'm telling myself that, and that's reflecting out in my reality. But also number two, these have all been lessons to kind of remember the wholeness within me. And that if people don't stick around, it's because they don't have the capacity to hold that, my light. It has nothing to do with me. So yeah, I'm just realizing and remembering that also for the first time, just to really be myself. And if that means, and that, that might mean loss. And that's when, not being attached to that comes in, and almost like being brave in the face of loss. And if you get through that, that is when everything starts coming to you. And I'm right there. And I've been there before in different phases in my life, but yeah, it's just interesting stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's becoming very familiar with thyself requires an absence of self. Well, where's the paradox there? Well, I mean, the truth be known that whatever your centric point of interest is just a laser beam, where within Taoism, to evoke the spirit requires the attention and intention. Shazam. Then you are the embodiment of the primordial mother, and you are altering and creating heaven on earth, altering the fabric of reality, as we put it, by cutting at will and reshaping and returning things to whole. And by doing that, as you put it, people have to be able to maintain the charge. And this is where I very, very much in depth into understanding, well, what does that actually mean to show value to the flesh? The anchor point of your consciousness through this lens requires that if you don't recognize mortality as real, you're subjected to the limited effects of that. Within Taoism, we refer to it as let the man who's never left the village, let him know he has seen the world, because it's all right here. It's all right here. You never have to go anywhere. It's within you. But then this is the hallmark throwaway until you're able to create a convergence that is substantive, that is an experience's experience, the experiential moment of the tangibility of such is where I am the Pepsi challenge guy from the 80s. I'll take the Pepsi taste test with anyone. Show me what it is that we speak of, because it comes with an example that leads others to their own remembrance. You must be able to evoke that within them. That spark of divinity requires something that is equal to or greater than what they're already transmitting. That resonance is a connection. And that's where things get really saucy and exciting and potent for the individual seeker, because that rite of passage is yours and always has been. And you have to be able to use a method. And the method is where people get all, well, I'm spiritual. I'm not a God person. I'm not a this. I'm not a that. I don't believe in religion. Yet, okay, you acquired some sense where you're seeing grandma, or you see shadows of clowns when you're asleep, or you have lucid dreams. Yeah. Maybe you've had an experience that you would count as an astral projection. These are all fantastic things, but I want to bring you back to a point you made earlier. It's like we refer to it as a bite of the spiritual dragon. You get a taste of it, but you can't mimic it. You can't repeat it, because you don't understand how that was created and converged as an actual experience. That's where method. And now I never get tired of the method. And alchemy for Taoism is just being able to mimic and emulate the cosmos as this body. Heaven is on earth. And so when people understand that this is an alchemy that's going on for millions of years, millions of people have walked before you using these alchemical systems, they work. They're true and true. That's the thing. It's like, but what people tend to go is, well, I'm not a Taoist. I mean, I have a lot of students that are like, reborn Christians, and then they're in the closet going, oh, I really, the energy thing is so potent for me. They learn the chemical process. They go through the center and recognize they're a Taoist, they're a Christian, they're universe, they're Buddha, they're light, they're all these things and nothing at the same time. And that's that part. You really accept and allow everyone and everything and every place as it is. And that's where people get distorted. And they're like, well, I'm really spiritual. It doesn't affect me. Oh, I can't stand Christians. Oh, hang on. I thought you didn't care. Oh, well, no, really. For example, I used an example years and years ago when I was first ordained in One Lineage of Taoism. I said to one of my friends who's a devout Jew, and he goes, he goes, I go, oh, I just became ordained. And he goes, oh, really? A priest of what? What, Christianity? And I'm like, no, I'm a Taoist priest. And like Tourette's, there's only one God. I'm like, easy with the only one God. But, people don't recognize what's going on in the shadows of themselves because they refer to everything as being one stream. And yes, the divergence of the symbiosis between yin and yang within this material state is the potential, recognizing that these are two energies that are coming from the stream that is one. And so when you start to play with that, then you go, oh, okay, now I'm getting a sense of understanding that once I am able to merge the two together, which is like conscious and unconscious, and merge them together, you unlock this resonance that you have always had, and it just gets higher. And so, I experience very similar things to you. People love me or hate me. That's just how it is, because this is the dimension or the realm or the material state that you're in. And so you're going to be subject to these elements of surprise or experience. Yeah. Okay.
You know what's funny? I actually wrote a poem about this, and I wonder if you'd relate to it. I never posted it because I thought it was a little melodramatic at the time, and I didn't want the guy I liked to think it was about him. But now that we're not talking, I'm going to read it to you. Yes. Let's see. Let's see if I can find it. If I can't find it, then I'll just tell you kind of what it's. It was about me feeling like a ghost. Let's see. Come on. I know it's somewhere. Damn. It was, you know what? Let me just look at my photos quick. Otherwise, we'll just get over it and I'll tell you kind of what it was because I remember a little bit of it. Okay, ghost. Is it here, Dana? No. Okay, it's not. Oh, well. I remember I wrote a poem and I will find it eventually. And it said something about like how I felt like a ghost and how people either come to me in moments of grief or for inspiration, but nothing else. And I kind of felt like this like effigy or this like this thing that just exists on earth that, you know, people either, you know, seem to connect with me when they're at states of trauma, like, you know, and maybe I'm a escape for them or I hold, you know, a connection they need, or it's like people come to me when they want to be inspired for the same reasons. But I don't feel like I've had many people who've truly seen me or wanted to connect with me for me. And I don't know if that comes from having, you know, maybe a small amount of success, but even when I didn't have success, I felt this. So I don't know if it's certain personality types who are mirrors or, you know, or just in your authenticity, but yeah, I don't even know why I brought that up, but I just find it, I find it an interesting thing to ponder.
Oh, you're speaking on the ancient roots of Taoist alchemy. For magic, the most potent part of magic for Taoism is called the Rhapsody, where we go deep into the poetic flow of how you capture the imbued primordial state through the breath, and you use those words to craft and conjure and create within the material world. So poetry is so potent and forever adjusting the experiencer. And so when you mention that, it's like, oh, that's my favorite. Any form of expression through these ancient words. They're like characters that go beyond anything that you can create in your mind. They embody that, right? And it makes sense when your conscious speaking through you gives you this incredible insight through wisdom and creating a poem about the fundamental edges that you're dancing on, yet there's a complete holy stream that is being met. It's either I want one taste of the extreme or the other, one polarizing effect or the other, yet they're not allowing themselves to drink from the immortal elixir, which is everything.
Yeah. In themselves.
Right. And that's why you have such potency, because the resonance is so high that they have counter effects. And that's where you get the, oh, I love you or hate you. And you're like, where did this come from? I'm just emanating self. And I'm meeting this moment, yet you're so affected by this. Yeah. I mean, this is where, you know, they refer to the reputation procedure. Your resonance precedes you, where you're not speaking. Your actions are louder. Your emanation is louder. Your embodiment is louder. And it's having a fundamental effect on everyone that enters into that union. And it's like, I'm going to take it or leave it. I'm going to love you, hate you. And this is part of the symbiosis of that tango.
Yeah. You know what? That's what it is. It's like almost like, you know, when I find when people first meet me, they seem like they're experiencing bliss, right? And then it seems like I plant a seed almost as being myself, and they go into some kind of dark night of the fucking soul, and then they want nothing to do with me. It's almost like they blame me for that, for like a small awakening. And no one ever wants to hang through to the other part, which is where, you know, you're integrated and everything's great again. And, you know, I think it's hard to find those people in your life. And maybe it has been, but I won't now because I'm going to attract different people. But yeah, those are the kind of people I've attracted. And I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe, who knows?
Well, I mean, it is. It's within Taoism, we refer to it as stress, adaptation, and then expansion. So the stress is the integration, the adaptation is the contraction, and then the expansion that comes with it. So there's fundamentally creation, completion, and then rebirth is happening all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, you're meeting that moment, and you're basically, someone is entering into your emanation or vice versa, but then you're bringing the mic up to them and say, please speak, say something, anything.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I have to meet this moment. And I feel really uncomfortable. And it has to be you. No, you need to own your shit, my friend, and suck it up. Recognize your fragility is being pushed up against. That freezer burn you're feeling right now, it stings. It stings because it's of your making. But can you truly accept and surrender to that moment and recognize that once you let go, freedom.
Yeah, I know. I really wish I could find that poem. It's okay. I'll just set an alarm and I'll try and find it.
We love the Rhapsody. We are just obsessed. That's how we conjure magic. It's like
oh, that's so cool. I can't get over it. I want to find it. I can't find it though, can I?
You'll find it. You'll find it.
I feel like I will.
Can't be far.
That's what I'm saying. I just wrote it. Is this it? Hold on. When did I write it? In like October. And I can't find it now. Where did you go? What the heck? Why does my notepad do this to me? You know what? Hold on. Is it in one more place? I'm going to look, and then we're going to just get over it, and I'm going to have to let it go. And I will let it, when I let it go is when I will find it, which is what is so hilarious. Because I made it into a picture, so I'm trying to see if I still have that photo of it. So far back. Is it here? No. Okay. Oh well. I'll find it and I'll. Oh wait. Is this it? No. We're gonna forget it.
You're always creating. You're creating a lot of poetry, right?
I write so much, like poetry and notes and thoughts, and just trying to capture, I guess, like my human experience or my spiritual, it's like beyond human experience. It's like this, I call my poetry metaphysical because it's kind of like this interspecies. This is why I like plasma. I feel like I'm always in this space between human and spirit. And it's like I exist in this liminal space, and I can either be super inhuman or super in spirit, but trying to exist within the middle, I'm learning and trying to come up with words for those things because it's more of a feeling state than so it's just like, it's just interesting.
I mean, just your presence right now inspires a little bit of the old Rhapsody in myself, you know. If I had to capture it right now, it's the oil slick of the moonlight as it crystallizes into the rainbow that is deep within the center of your being. As you blossom, as you grow, as you embody self, you will find that stream is forever lasting, forever holy, forever in love with thyself. Open your arms, take a deep breath, embrace the truth, and forever hold your peace.
Oh, I love that. That sounds like a channeled poem.
Well, yeah, I do that. I've got, that's how the magic starts. Well, we can record this, and if you want it, because it's for you. So that's
thank you.
Yeah, it's just capturing that moment, just like you said. It's like I'm sure that the moments become effortless. It's the stage fright that you have that takes a little bit more. And stage fright of what? It's a little bit of the shadow, little bit of what you want to nurture as a child, there's sadness, there's regret, there's despair that comes from the moment. And that's more where your lung channel is holding the congestion of that. So within Taoism, we look at these channels of energy, and the more and more you embrace them, the more and more you infuse them, and you basically push on it until the charge just blows up in the whole channel, which infuses everything that's a thoughts, feelings, and emotion that may be stagnant, and they instantly recycle back, increasing your potency. You're getting larger. You're opening up more space for being who you really are, which is nothing more than this next moment.
Huh. It's very interesting, especially because my lungs recently have felt more strain on them. So that's funny. You're talking about lungs.
Well, when I look at your aura, I mean, we just go up and down. Normally, that's just part of the things that I teach people: clairvoyance, mediumship, channeling. But you just look at it, and the information's there, just like you said.
Yeah.
And it's part of the training is being able to see it. I see it with my eyes open. I'm not 3 cents short of $1. I am very, very coherent. I'm not having a psychotic break. I've been doing this a long time.
Same. Yeah.
But, a lot of people, they freak out when I do psychic readings. I always give them an out. You start at the bottom. I normally start with the earth, and then I go into what someone will refer to as a root chakra. And then by the time I get to sexual energy, they want to stop. They're like, holy shit, real. It's like, and they're like, hang on, how can you do that? And I'm like, I'm just reading it off the menu. I'm not invested in it. I don't care if you tell me the next coming of Jesus Christ. I don't care. It's just information. And that's where people are like, how can you be so disconnected from the fact that you're just reading stuff and it has such a fundamental effect on me? This is where the information is. It's like the Emperor's New Clothes. Once you condition it, it's an instant thing. It's obtainable to anybody that understands how the method is arrived. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I call information. It feels like, imprinted consciousness, like on this, plasmic field, right? So you're using your senses, your extra senses as well, to take that in and then express them.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking at you, the backdrop of my life is basically a black sheet, and then everything comes in. So we're having this conversation, but I'm also walking on the surface of the moon. I'm also experiencing a brook, a bubbling brook down in certain parts of like Alaska. I mean, these things are all happening, and it's a visceral somatic.
I feel that too.
And so it's happening right now with the visual effects of as if I could see you. I see the same imagery with my eyes open. This is a conditioning. I think I remember I had a friend of yours on Tom, what's Upsight, whatever his name is. Tom.
Oh, Tom Matt. Yeah. Upsight Vision.
Yeah. And I basically helped him understand what it was that he was experiencing, because the alchemical process is easily deciphered. And he was like, oh. It's like, man, it's like, okay, we're all special in our own way, but it's a conditioning. It's like, okay, you called it Upsight. Someone else will call it Resight. Someone else will just call it, we refer to it as sensory perception. But when you understand how these things are evoked, anyone has the ability to do it. There is
no totally. Yeah. And I mean, I'm the same as you, and whether you call it bilocation, trilocation, like I can have split parts of consciousness. Yeah. Like right now I'm in the moon, I'm envisioning it. I'm also by a babbling brook, like same thing. Like, and I can have it all three at the same time while we're talking. And it's fun to kind of experiment with those things, because it almost doesn't take you away from your worries, but it expands your perception to where you're realizing your worries are a little bit silly in an absurd way. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but
well, it's not real. Thoughts, feelings, emotions are transitory. They're impermanent. They're not real. None of this
stories.
Is real. It's a manufactured highlight or a node point where we're allowing it to manipulate us. It's not real.
I would call it real in a sense, as real as it's one reality. You know what I mean? Like it's tangible. I'm here, I'm living, but there's so much beyond it and so much we can access. And when you are in that state, you do realize how trivial things are. And obviously I'm not always in that state. Sometimes I could totally be sucked up in the drama, the illusion of this reality. But I do love when I can be soaked into this reality and also understand the other realities, because then it's almost like ultra real, because then I'm experiencing it all at once, and it's that part's fun when I'm there.
8K, 24K, 100K. It's
Multi-dimensional K.
yeah. I mean, and I mean, that's really where a lot of people, it's the method. I just, people are like, really, it's a method of cultivation. And once you understand it, the way I teach the alchemy, you can't not adopt these type of skills, because they're conditioned skills that have been handed down from generation to generation. It's not like, well, your gifts are this and mine are that, and enough of that nonsense. You have the ability to access all of the same things. One is not lesser or greater than the other, and they're not a certain amount of gifts because you are, born into this world because of your, subjective past life, blah, blah, blah. I mean, we can go on with that, but it's all energy potential. So when you recognize that, you go through a deep integration. Once you turn on the system, you can't turn it. So when I refer to the system, it's like driving your car down the street. You pull your car out the side of the road, you get out, the car is idling. This system does not require your participation. So once you actualize it, your intellect will be on super steroids as you converge as the holy stream. There's a moment of detachment and attachment, where you detach, where nothing moves the needle. You just feel desensitized to absolutely everything, which is a moment of resetting and rebooting the system. Then you attach to the thing, and now you converge conscious and unconscious, and you're on super steroids. Now, when you put feelings and emotions, you evoke instant response within the material world.
What you call that, I call plasma consciousness synergy, which is what I teach my magic classes on. And it really is just the unconscious and conscious. Like, that's what Carl Jung called the unconscious. I call plasma. But it really, I actually agree with what you're saying. I find it very interesting. You're saying it too. So like, if we're each in this, holographic universe, we do have access to every single magic power, every single gift, right? I would say, I did experience a gnosis out of nowhere, right? I don't know. That's one of the mysteries of life. And I do think people maybe have certain gifts, but it doesn't mean other people can't, and other people can't learn them, whether it's by osmosis or what you teach or what I teach. I think it is very, very important to state that anyone can actually have any gift. And yes, maybe someone's better at something, but maybe that's just because they've practiced it longer. So, if there's practice. There you go. So, just maybe one thing pop up for me, like clairaudience, and you don't have that, like, it's popped up, and that's a mystery of my life. I cannot explain that, but I think anyone can have that. So I think it's very important to tell that, because people listening that maybe feel like, we each have our special things, like, yes, but we can all have those things if we really want. Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I mean, that's how the alchemy, you may be receiving, you may be a recipient of something initially that is just bound by the five senses. And then those five senses turn into 500 senses, because now you're integrating everything at the same stream level as its whole. So you're not, initiating, sight over hearing, over taste, over smell, over kinesthetic response as one. It all becomes convergent as one. So everything is a superpower. And so that's where, the rubber meets the road for many people is can you condition yourself as you come up to that point where limitation is dissolved? And that's when you return to holiness. That's where you turn to that one stream.
I agree. Because people always ask me, oh, are you clairvoyant or clairaudient? I'm like, I'm all of them. And I just, I take in and I use, I never was conditioned or had that limiting thing. So it's just like, I just had it all. And like I shut it off for a long time. But when I started meditating and opened back up to it, it was all there. And then kind of like you, it's like, yeah, it's not really about one thing or the other. I mean, it's cool to talk about those things, but at the end of the day, it's really just, yeah, like not limiting ourselves and taking things in, applying our logic to it after the fact, and discernment. And, anyway, it's a lot more fun and whimsical, and people make it not sometimes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you want to see evidence from me.
Yeah.
I've witnessed a lot of crazy shit over the last 36 years. I mean, it starts with physical healing. That was my addiction.
Yeah.
It still is. So there isn't a day I don't witness some miracle that is instantaneous. And to evoke that is really, once you condition it, you hold it. So you sink into that state where you find that potency stream, and you're able to hold it, and it literally blossoms like a flower. So, watching transformation or healing, I've seen everything from gangrenous flesh go back to pink in color in 40 minutes to gaseous for my eyes, tumors disappear. You name it, I've seen it. It's just another day in the office. But, it's a matter of holding that stream. And I really attribute most of it to, I accept everything as face value. I'm childlike in my nature. And the fundamental rule is I will try anything once.
I love that.
Because I'm not limited to, I was like, I don't have a version. Like my teacher, one of my teachers, Jane Emperor, always reminds you, when you accept you know nothing, you know everything.
I know. It's true.
So many people come in to say, you're teaching or my teaching, and they're like, well, I've done Reiki and Qigong and healing, and I've got a parapsychologist degree, and I'm this, and I'm a physicist, and I'm a doctor, and I'm this. It's like, if any of those things actually integrate itself, you wouldn't be here. So now you need to flush them down the toilet.
Yeah.
And now know what it feels like to be stripped down to your naked self. And can you stand there in front of me without feeling shame, disappointment, sorrow, sadness within you that you have not accomplished what you thought was your version of life? And where you're at in your own timeline, you haven't done anything that makes you feel whole. So you're here because you have yet to find it. And this is why we're here, to help return you back to your holy self. And that requires conditioning. And that's where people get, they get pushed right up to the edge. And can you hold that charge? Well, that's determined by you. And most people will resort back to a very fragile state where, you hurt me because of this, that, and something else. And they'll stay there, and they conjure there, and they percolate there, and they grow and fester this roadblock that cannot be destroyed.
Tell me more. Sorry, yes, because I actually get what you're saying. I really like it. How it's almost like stripping down and just, on a human to human level. Like, forget your teachings, forget your trainings. Like, can we just have this human relationship, the same you kind of have with God or your higher self, where it's just a feedback system of information and choices and, nothing else, right? And it's like, so I'm curious, when you say conditioning, can you explain that to me more, just so I can understand that?
Yeah. So the conditioning most potent is resorting back to the embryonic charge that comes with your first breath. And so this is an integration we refer to as the primordial mother. As she inhales, she creates yang. And this is this convergence between yin and yang. So respiration is the most ancient sacred practice. And we go deep into the respiration to conjure and converge and hold this, codify this charge. And we refer to it as immortality crystallized in the material. And that's how we, you felt that charge? Hell yeah, absolutely. Because we're here. We are as one. We are communing together. This is what our parapsychologist friends, you probably have many of them.
Yeah.
Kinesis, this is real shit. This is happening. As one. Yeah. So the conditioning is part and parcel, this integration, and then diluting this version of visualization and imagination it's perception. So when you meet it, you're not conjuring something that might be, or you're being told is going to be front loaded, or you're floating this idea of what it is. You will meet it through the experience, through the potency of the alchemical process, and your perception will be immediate. It's not about like, if I tell you that, if you do this exercise, I want you to imagine the sunshine pouring down your face. No, I will give you the incantation, the cultivational practice, the respiration, and it evokes shit inside you that you never thought existed, and it just presents itself. And you're like, holy shit, this is like the key to unlock all my shit. Because this is you. And this has been cultivated over and over and over again, millions of times, and it works. And that's the key. And a lot of people freak out because all of a sudden the body is working independent of the mind. And people start jumping on like WebMD and looking up because the system is working and starting to regain its potency. And so
that's what mine's doing.
Right.
That's
people walk through their life so deficient, and their status quo of what they believe is normal is subpar to the truth of who they really are. And they just operate. They don't recognize their own power. And so until you get a taste of your own power, you're like, oh, well, this is not normal. Holy shit, what have I been? What is my that status quo is not who I am. I am absolute. I am whole. I am pure. I am the pulse, the animation to all things, which then the I am returns to nothing, because you recognize the only time I've ever witnessed any miracles is void of any sort of title. And so
let me ask you this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, just a selfish interest of mine. So because I agree, and I think right now what's happening with me is, and I think people at the point I'm at now is when they usually resort to a lot of doctors or surgeries or like weird immune disorders that come from nowhere. Like, I feel like my body is almost breaking down or expanding to hold that charge of my multidimensional self, right? Of my essence. And it was in survival so long and like in this little state, grasping on for dear life, that it kind of was like small and cowering. And now because it's expanding, just like when you work out and the muscles hurt, I'm having, like my lymphs feel a little inflamed and everything feels shitty and my throat hurts, but I'm not sick. And I had this happen once before, which is, thank God, why I know not to go to a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice here by any means, but like my inner voice is telling me this. It's like, you are not sick. You're expanding, like trust. And last time I trusted, I was fine. And I know I'm fine now. And I do listen to my body, but I think so many people have this, right? And they'll get a spine surgery that actually ruins them for life, or they'll get diagnosed with an immune disorder that becomes their story for 20 years. And it's like, if we were just to give ourselves a little more time to unfold and let these weird sensations and not Google them, right? And trust our bodies, I think so many things could be avoided. And anyway, but I do feel like I'm in that state where I'm expanding, but it's a little bit uncomfortable, but that's fine. But I think a lot of people give up there.
Well, that's the stress. So you're at the birth, and you're going to the completion and then rebirth. So this is, I feel that. Have you met your maker? Are you meeting the moment that requires you to hold on for a dear life that is immortal, not mortal? It's immortal. You are immortal. You're holding on for nothing, because the truth is, you are eternal. You are forever. And that
totally.
That potency requires an observation that we refer to as first person, third person, no person. That's when the integration becomes whole. And so this is how you create it, through conditioning. Like, your side effects right now would be conditioned out through an alchemical process. Whatever you're feeling, you run through the conditioning process, and it just disappears. And it becomes so potent that what you refer to would be a light body becomes a heavy body, becomes a potent, tangible, material thing that can only be created from the heavens, from a holy stream that cannot be distorted. And so all of a sudden you have this soup that you are swimming in, that where did this shit come from? It's like I have an independent body inside my body that is operating independently of my mind, and it just keeps expanding and blossoming and expanding and blossoming and expanding. And this is the process you're going through right now.
Yeah, that's how it feels. And I think what has been helping the most is, yes, not assigning stories to what I'm feeling, just letting it unfold, and doing a lot of like Qigong, actually, or Qigong, I can never pronounce it, has helped because it's helping me kind of open up the pathways and stuff. And then I've been eating a lot, but I think that's like, I need to like ground myself or something. So I'm not going to be upset at that, but yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you want to meet the moment of what's the most appropriate energy system that you're going to operate. You know, I mean, more in the realms or the theme that becomes most healing is more on a ketone level. And when you start to bring ketosis into the process, the body just naturally heals. It's an anti-inflammatory, highly anabolic state that when you really optimize, you understand what's necessary. The anabolic effects and the anti-inflammatory effects are crazy. And all you're doing
for the diet, ketosis, you're saying? Okay.
Yeah.
And I've heard about it.
Yeah. You know, this is one of the things that, you know, is part of what we call the supple conditioning, where I go deep into how to optimize the body as it is a reflection of the cosmos. It's your cosmos on Earth. And so we go deep into the systems, glucose to ketones, how to integrate it. And then, of course, the mother of anti-blocking you, which is insulin. And so understanding that if you're not optimizing insulin, you are going to start to see the effects where you're not getting the results, whether it's dropping body fat, increasing muscle tissue. You want it to be a counterintuitive thing, yet most people struggle with this stuff. But once you get down with it, you know, you drop pounds in minutes. I mean, I've been obsessed with it since I was 10, and I started bodybuilding 10 years old. I competed for the first time. And I was mentored deeply by, you know, professional bodybuilders. And I went through nutrition, became integrated with and have for over 40 years. And this is part of understanding how to implement it. And once you build the foundation of the body and it works perfectly, you know, and shedding things that are not obvious, which is more visceral fat, which most people are not. They don't realize it's leaking toxicity into the gut, into the system, affecting the microbiome. And then you're not optimizing yourself because you feel stagnant. So what's the biggest issue with all this stuff is homeostasis. The physiology wants to create homeostasis. So cortisol is going to be high. So if you're emotionally attached to anything, and then you add something where you wake up in a high sort of anti-you state of high beta, where everything is like on steroids, where you feel like you've had 4 lanes of speed and 10 cups of coffee, and then your life is integrated into that. The circadian rhythm is not going to be your friend. You're not going to optimize where the light is, how it's drawn into the body, how you integrate that as one. So you are the jewel in your crown. So to do that, you must be able to nurture the light and understand how the light is integrated into the body, and then where that goes within the endocrine system. Because you continue in heightened states of any type of inflammation or stress, whether it's from your feelings or emotions, it has a physiological response. And then you stay in what we refer to as an anti-you, where you are autoimmune, you are cannibalizing yourself just to create a subversion of homeostasis. So the endocrine system will consume more. So if you run out of cortisol, it will find it. It will start to consume all your major hormones, your sex hormones, estrogen, testosterone. They'll just keep running through it till you have nothing left, because it must maintain homeostasis. That's the cannibalistic effect of it. So and understanding how the food, the lifestyle choices, all these things come into play, and then you are a rock star and you are so potent, so clear, you are vibrant. This all into the system. Does that make sense? Or maybe I just went to.
No, it makes sense. I mean, I'm not too much into nutrition. I don't know a lot about it. I do kind of do what works for me, and it works. But I'm curious what you're saying about the insulin thing. Can you speak a little bit more on how you efficiently use your insulin and what you mean by that?
Right. Because what you want to do is create insulin sensitivity. Insulin resistance is basically the byproduct of 90% of society, especially in America, is challenged by insulin resistance to some degree. So your baseline of your blood sugar levels when you fast, as opposed to 1 month, 3 months, however you want to measure it, the bottom line is most people are not optimizing. It's not even like a snapshot of your fasting glucose levels. You will see that, oh my goodness, my blood sugar is at 80. Well, that's within range. Yet your insulin is like wildfire. It doesn't matter how much you exercise, how much you eat clean, how much you live like a nun. Guess what? Your body's not responding because the insulin is way too high, and you're not being able to maintain it. And so how you do that is you want to finely tune the pancreas and the liver. The liver is generally the biggest culprit in relation to this. And so
I see.
And so when you screw your liver up, and most people have non-fatty alcoholic liver, they don't even realize. It's like, how is it that it happens that I am feeling the effects, if not worse, than someone who's been drinking for 30 years, yet all I'm doing is consuming what is an American diet or a Western diet, which is just rancid with compressed preservatives and things that you should never be inducing at the level that you're at, whether it's instead of 20 grams of protein, it's 1,000. Instead of 5 grams of sugar from a piece of fruit, it's 5,000 grams of sugar. All these things are compressed within the diet, and that has rampant effects on your insulin resistance. And the higher it goes, the more the body will attempt to create homeostasis or just run rampant and ravage. That's where, when insulin is out of control, it's your autoimmune disease. That's where all metabolic disorder starts from there, and it will just run through like wildfire. And you just think, oh, it's not a big deal. I'm keto, I'm low carb, but you're just eating shit that doesn't unlock the body's ability to drop body fat. And it's not muscle tissue. You want to maintain. When you optimize this type of like eating regimen, you will be more anabolic than you've ever seen. Your hormones get regulated immediately, and you will literally feel like you're on steroids because you're building muscle tissue at any age. It doesn't matter. I can ramp up growth hormone levels to 4,000, 10,000% of what the average is on a daily basis, because now we integrate temperature, hot and cold, into the mix. How you eat, what you're eating, when you're eating, all of this stuff be suffering. It has to do with conditioning yourself, so then you can optimize and you can have your meal out, do whatever you want, but it's all good. We're not eating. Today's society is so weak. They're like, they need a wet nurse for everything. It's like, I deserve to eat like kings and queens 7 days a week, 5 times a day. And this is a problem, because they were the ones that used to get sick. The peasants were the ones that lived a long, healthy life, working their ass off because they're eating nothing but simple meats and dairy and things of that nature that they could get from their own farmland. Whereas everyone is a king and queen eating.
They were indulging.
I need all this potent, toxic shit on a daily basis, whether it's seed oil, glyphosate, or whatever it is that you're inducing. It starts to pollute the system, and it gets worse and worse. You'll see it come up. Hopefully
I'm looking at a keto diet. No, it looks like all foods I love, because I love fatty food. So interesting.
Really
I'll look in.
The most important thing is high fat. High fat. That must be the first thing that you focus on, and then you start integrating short, medium, and long fatty acids, as they're all variables, and they change where you're sourcing the fat from within the system, within the body. And so
I'll look more into it.
Look into it and apply it. And you, just from your own, from your auric field and what information I can see, You
Mhm.
thrive. You thrive on high fat. You
Yeah,
thrive.
no, I love high
Your
fat foods. So
your head is going to go, I thought I was sharp. Now I'm like a
no,
fucking
very
razor blade. How sharp I
yeah,
am. Because this is where things start to get real exciting. You upgrade yourself, and the clarity
yeah.
of mind is like super steroids. It's crazy.
Well, time for a high fat lunch soon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's wind this down because I know you're
Yes.
you're coming to. So this has been fantastic.
Yeah.
Understanding that everything is an iteration of self, in my
Yeah.
opinion. It
Yeah,
all
totally.
just comes back to the same flow.
I've realized that too. Pretty recently as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah. I
always
mean, it's, huh?
no, no. Go ahead.
No, I just, it's, you know, I'm obsessed with plasma, right? And it's really fun to talk about. And it's also fun to talk about our consciousness. But at the end of the day, like, we're having this experience and it's a mystery and it's an interesting thing. I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
no words.
It's just inspiring, and it should be. Every day should be a moment where you wake and sleep inspired to constantly
Yeah.
explore more.
That's how I feel. I just feel like I think, the stuff I'm doing with plasmas on the frontier of something. I think it makes some people feel uncomfortable, which is good. And, I never, as much as sometimes it does feel slightly lonely or slightly like I'm an other with the stuff I'm doing in my life, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I know a lot of exciting things are coming. And I just love always being on like the edges and pushing the edges and, peering behind the veil, so to say, and what can emerge from this reality when you bring freshness into it. So yeah, I'm just excited to see what happens next.
We have just begun, my dear friend. We have just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
very, very
Excited.
exciting. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks.
Incredible wisdom teaching. It's been a great conversation, and perhaps we'll do it again if it suits you.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you. We'll definitely need a part two. And I want to hear more about your kind of stuff too. And do you have a book as well or no?
Yeah, yeah. I have several books. First is they're not on Amazon. You can get them on my
Uh-huh.
website. I
What's
refuse.
your website?
I am anti Amazon, by the way. ImmortalDaoistRights.com.
Okay. I unfortunately I use Amazon. I'm in the 3G world and it was just easy for me at the time and I just could not deal with figuring it out myself. Wait, what is your website?
ImmortalDaoistRights.com. So
Okay.
TAOISTRITES.com.
Okay. All right. I'll get it when we're off here. Okay. Well, yes. Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, my book is on Amazon. It also is on my website, danakippel.com. I do sell signed books on there. And then, yeah, my magic classes. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I'm excited to look at your stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I want everyone to go out and check out what Dana's offering. And so can they get one-on-one sessions with you, or how does that work?
I do a few one-on-one sessions a month. I don't have that much availability for those, but if they email me, and you could find my email through my website or through my Instagram or TikTok. But I do magic classes once a month that are live with a Q&A. So it's a way to have some intimate time with me. It's like an 1.5 to 2 hour Q&A. And then I teach an 1 hour to 2 hour class, whether it's about, the secret bridge, the fourth dimension of plasma, or edge and hinge physics, or, how to make your fear into a flow state, just all kinds of different, human magical practices. I teach about plasma, obviously, as well. So yeah, that's what I have fun doing. And, that's what I'm doing.
I think it's amazing. I'm very grateful
Yeah.
for you. Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
teaching. And I look forward to exploring our friendship that I think is an immediate bond.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So thank you again. Thank the
Yes.
universe for bringing you into my life. Thank the audience for sharing their time with us today. I'm your humble
Yes.
servant in seafood, Taoist Master San Qing. I'll see you in the next one, guys.